Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today I wanted to tackle the age-old question, one that has bothered me for quite some time, and that is, which Louis Vuitton Neverfull should I go with? Should I go with the MM or the GM? So if you're like me and are struggling with this question, definitely keep on watching. For those of you who might be new here, thanks so much for checking this out. I am a full-time working mom, but in my spare time I really love making these videos on fashion, beauty, mommy lifestyle, in addition to my reselling experience as well. So if that kind of thing sounds at all interesting, definitely check out my other videos linked down below, and please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. It'll totally help me out. So for today's video, I'm just going to take you through a little bit of history of the bag, show you some of the differences between the models I have, and I also want to show you some mod shot size comparisons and what types of things these two sizes of bags will hold. So if you are interested in seeing a very in-depth review of my MM size in particular, these are my two MM sizes. They're the Damier Bean and Damier Azur. I did a whole video on this a couple of years ago, which I'll link down below. I also do a review of the rose ballerine interior lining as I have in these bags in case you're curious. So definitely check that video out. And in that video I go through a lot more detail about the history of the bag, the exact changes it went through in 2014. So check out that video to kind of learn more about this particular model. Today's video, I'm really just going to focus on size comparison mostly and some of the differences between the GM and the MM. So as you all are probably aware, this is one of Louis Vuitton's most iconic handbag styles. It was launched in 2007, and in 2014 there was a remake of the bag. So my MM styles are the newer models of the bag, which I will show you some of the features in a minute. The GM is a little bit different because it does incorporate some of the older model versions as well, although I did purchase this most recently. In fact, if you want to check out my unboxing of this bag that I did last year, I will also link that down below. So in 2014, some of the changes that were included were that they added different colors of linings, including the rose ballerine, as you can see here. They also included the detachable pouch, which I will show you as well. They also changed the font and design of the lining. So let me just quickly take you through some of the differences between these bags in terms of size, and I will also show you a little bit of a close-up view of each of these bags and some brief comments on wear and tear. So as I'm sure you're well aware, because this bag is so popular, they have launched it in so many different styles, sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming. As you can see, I love the canvas versions, and I have all three different types of canvas, the Bean, the Azur, and the monogram, which I love. It also comes in many different specialty designs and fabrics throughout the years. It comes in different leather versions as well, including epi leather, which is a really nice durable leather. And recently they also introduced it in empreinte leather, which is just gorgeous as well, and I definitely have my eye on. So many choices, as you can see. They even offer Mod Monogram in both MM and GM. I decided to go with the Mod Monogram in the GM, as I'll show you in a minute, but they do offer that as well in the MM size. So in terms of size comparisons, according to the websites, the MM size, as you can see here, measures approximately 12.5 inches in length. It measures about 11.5 inches in height and about 6.5 inches in depth. So as you can see here, the GM size is noticeably larger, and according to the website, the approximate measurements are about 15.5 inches in length, 13 inches in height, and about 8 inches in depth. So as I mentioned before, I have both the MM and the GM size. It also comes in a PM size, and these letters stand for petite model, which is PM size, which is smaller than this, the moyenne model, or medium size bag, and then the grand or grand model in the GM size. So for me at least, the PM size just wouldn't work out so well, I'd say. I think in terms of this tote bag style, I really don't like it too small. If I'm going to get a smaller bag, I really gravitate more toward crossbody bags, for instance. But for a tote bag, I at least want it to have a little bit of room and area to throw things in. That's kind of what I think of a tote bag as. So for me at least, I like the MM and the GM. So this is the MM size, and again, this is my Bean, and this was the first Neverfull that I ever purchased years ago, and this is one of my most used bags. As you can see here, it's just gorgeous, and I have my luggage tag on there. Wear and tear is pretty good, and again, I'm not going to go in too much detail because I did that in my previous video. But overall, wear and tear is excellent on this canvas. It's very wipeable, which is so important these days. The main thing in terms of wear and tear on the outside is that the bean, as I'm sure you're well aware, can wrinkle, as you can see here. And that's just normal wear and tear of the leather. There are no cracks in the piping at all, but definitely has signs of wear, as you can see here. Otherwise, the hardware is not tarnished. Everything just looks really pretty still. So as I showed in my previous video, the other main site of wear is on the stitches and the handles, and these are sometimes a little hard to see, but there are stitches that are slightly frayed on the handle. And again, I think that's normal wear and tear, but you definitely can see signs of that. The interior of the bag, again, I have the beautiful rose ballerine lining here. It still looks pretty good. I'm actually using this bag currently, and it definitely has some wear and tear in it, but it's overall not bad. I have some scuffs in there, and in the beginning, of course, when you get a new bag, you're so particular about scuffs and marks, but I really use this as a workhorse, so I don't really try to take out those scuffs and marks anymore. As you can see, the lining is this beautiful kind of pinstripe lining now, and that was one of the changes with the new model. You can also see on the pocket there, it has the more block font, which is also the new change. You'll see this is in contrast to how the GM model looks. It comes with this really large zipper pocket, which holds a lot of your items. Otherwise, it's really just an open style bucket bag. And it has a D-ring on the side here to clip items to if you'd like. And it does have the clasp at the top, but otherwise it's an open style bag. So the other nice feature with the 2014 remake is it includes this pouch, as you all probably know, and I tend to just leave this pouch in the bag as an extra little catch-all. It does hold a lot of items, so I really enjoy using this pouch. In fact, it easily holds your cell phone, it holds some cash. You can kind of use it like a real wristlet. It includes some keys in there as well, and just take this on the go. So I think this is a real handy little pouch. The main critique that everyone often gives is how thin it is. So as you can see, it's super thin, so you can't hold a lot of items, especially not bulky items. But for a quick grab and go kind of wallet replacement that can also hold your phone, I think it's super convenient. So I actually really like this pouch. And you can actually purchase this separately, oftentimes on sites like Fashionphile or other pre-owned websites as well when people are trying to resell them. So if you're curious in just the pouch alone, you also can pick these up. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you the same on my Neverfull in the Azure print. So as you can see here, I have also used this bag pretty heavily because of how much it has patinaed here. It's definitely not as much as other bags I have, but I definitely have used this one quite a bit. I do have the Vuitton luggage tag on this bag, and I just love how the luggage tags look on these bags. So really just kind of putting one of them on every bag that I have in this style. This one also shows no significant wear and tear. There's a little bit of wrinkling, of course, in the leather, but not as much as the coated leather on the bean. And on this one, because the vachetta is more flexible, in my opinion at least, I do not think the stitches fray as much as you can see on the bean bag. So I don't have any significant fraying on these stitches, I will say. And I also don't think I have significant color transfer. You know, that's the question on these Azure bags, but as you can see on the back, there's no significant color transfer. I do know that can happen though, especially if we wear dark colored clothing. So to be honest, when I wear this bag, I definitely think a little bit about what I'm wearing that day in terms of my outfit. So just keep that in mind. But if you think a little bit of what you wear and just avoid really, really dark wash denim, for instance, I think your bag will be preserved really, really nicely. So the inside of the bag is exactly the same as the other one, so I won't show you the details because this bag, of course, is also in the rose ballerine. I just love that beautiful pink interior. And again, the interior is held up pretty nicely. And I will mention on this one that the tag on the side here tells you where it's made, and it's another sign of authenticity. So mine is made in the USA, but this tag right here will show you where the make is. And in case you're curious, another sign to look for authenticity is the date code on these bags. And for the Neverfulls, the date code is behind the main pocket, behind the main zippered pocket. You can see here, and there's a little leather tag here that tells you the date code on Neverfull. So that's where to look for it in case you're checking out authenticity. It's another nice little sign to look for. And of course, this bag, because it's a newer model, also comes with its beautiful little pouch. And it always comes with the matching lining that you select. So again, just really handy, convenient little extra catch-all or little substitute wallet that I love using. Okay, so really quick on the GM, and again, I'm not going to show you too many details because again, I covered a lot of that in my unboxing video that I had shown you previously. As you can see, because this is my newest bag, I have not used it all that much. I've tried it out a little bit, but I really haven't had a lot of places to use it yet. I was hoping to use this for travel, and then of course the pandemic hit us all, so I really haven't been using it as much as I would like, but I'm looking forward to using it a lot more going forward. In terms of the differences, there really aren't many besides size. The style is really the same. Of course, this is the Mod monogram with my initials, and the Mod monogram was super fun to play around with because you can choose the different colors, the different style of stripes, also how you like your lettering as well. So it was a really, really awesome experience. And the piping goes all the way on the bottom. And in terms of the inside of the bag, there are some slight differences, and this kind of harkens back to the original models of the Neverfull in terms of the style of the lining. So in this GM version that's in Mod monogram, they do include the old lining, as you can see here. So it has the quatrefoil type of pattern on the striping, but it has the Louis Vuitton written in cursive, as you can see there, or script. And that's different from the block print that you just saw in my bags. So that's one of the differences here. And otherwise, everything else is really the same. It has the D-ring here. And this bag, you will see on the leather tab where it's made. And that's also different from my previous Neverfull. So this one is made in France, as I believe a lot of them probably are if they're Mod monogram. So it's really custom made for you, which is super special and fun. The date code is also in the same location behind the pocket here on the side, in case you're curious. And the pouch that it comes with also comes in the Mod monogram style, which is really nice because it is personalized for you as well. So you can see here it has the Mod monogram print. And what's really fun too is the lining you pick for your bag is also the lining here. So I went with this beautiful burgundy color, and the lining is also lining the pouch. And I just grabbed my pouch just to share with you because I think a lot of people have the question, well, if you get the is the pouch a different size than the GM? And the answer is no. The pouches are the same in all bags. I believe it's also the same in the PM as well. So the pouches are all the same in terms of sizing, at least on the and the GM. So as you can see, they're exactly the same size. So in case you're curious, no difference there, the exact same pouch. It just comes in whatever print or style you select for your bag. So the main question, of course, when you're selecting between these two styles of bags is what fits inside and which one will be better for me in terms of what my needs are. So I'm going to show you, in terms of size comparison, what my standard 15-inch laptop looks like inside each of these bags. And as you know, these bags are generally large, right? So you can carry most things that you need on a day-to-day basis in these bags, no problem. People often love using purse organizers, and as I've talked about previously, I definitely tried out my fair share of purse organizers. So for me at least, I really love these larger tote style bags to be a little bit slouchy. And when you put in a purse organizer, the bag really conforms to the shape of the purse organizer, such that if you have that in the bottom here, oftentimes when I would carry the bag, I would see the marking or the demarcation of where the purse organizer would be, and it'd be kind of this boxy bottom to this bag. So I just really didn't like the look of that, but I definitely get how people love purse organizers because it really organizes the inside of your bag, especially if it's just a big open pit like this. What I like to do is I just use kind of the pouch system. So I have different pouches that I put in here with my items kind of organized in that way. So when I go in there to grab something, I don't have just random things floating around usually, and I have it kind of organized in that way. For instance, I don't necessarily advise putting just pens loosely thrown in there, perfumes thrown in there loosely, because if by some chance the pen bursts or the perfume bursts, I just really wouldn't want that staining or dirtying my bag on the inside. So I like to include all those types of things in separate little container pouches. So that's how I organize my bag and my preference. So in terms of size then, here's my laptop. It's my 15-inch MacBook Pro. And I'm just going to put it inside just to show you about what it looks like. And then I still have the pouch in there. So as you can see, the laptop nicely fits in here, and occasionally I will carry it in my Neverfull. It does slouch some, as you can see, if there's no other structure in here, which I kind of like. And as you can see here, the laptop fits super nicely. There's really a decent amount of room left for whatever you need. So I think this is a great work tote, and I often use it that way. So that's what the MacBook Pro looks like in the MM size. And of course, in the GM size, it's going to be even easier to fit this thing in here. So for the GM size, it really easily fits. So as you can see, there's a lot of extra length there. And you can carry way more than this in here. So as you can see there it is, it's sitting there. But I mean, there's a ton of room in the GM. So that is no problem at all to fit your MacBook Pro. And this is kind of what it looks like just with the computer in there. Okay, so the next question, of course, is how are these different models going to look like on your body frame? So I want to show you a couple different mod shots using each of these styles of bags. And just for your reference, I'm about 5'4" in height, in case you're curious. So I will first show you the size of the MM, as you can see here. So the MM for me, I think, fits my body type really nicely, as you can see. It is a large bag, but I don't think it looks overwhelming or too large for me, and I think it's a very manageable type of a size. So that's what this looks like on. And then, of course, this is going to look the same in size, but in case you're curious about the Azure, here's what the Azure looks. That just pops, of course, with the beautiful white or grayish background. And that's what the Azure looks like. So I think a really standard kind of tote size, in my opinion, really functional type of bag. So the GM, as you can see here, is noticeably larger. So I don't have anything in this bag, so it definitely is a little bit slouchy here. But this is what this looks like. So in my opinion, it definitely feels bigger. I mean, you can tell that there's a lot more room on both sides, as you can see. But this is what this looks like on. And let me just share with you on each side what they look like here. So MM versus GM. So which one of these models should you pick? And I really, of course, like any of these luxury items in particular, it needs to come down to what makes you happy and what you love, right? So it's definitely not for me to say which one is better for you, but at least for me, I prefer the MM size hands down. I am also a big bag girl. I mean, all throughout my entire life, I tend to gravitate more toward larger size. I just love the oversized slouchy hobo look, really large tote bags. I just really love that. I also love the fact that you can throw so much in these items as well. But the issue with the GM, as you saw earlier, is it's pretty large. So for a day-to-day bag, it just doesn't really work for me. Again, I haven't used it a ton yet, but I don't plan on using it as a day-to-day bag because for me, it's just a little bit too much room. And when you do move around with these bags and walk your day-to-day life, this MM size even will often hit against things because it kind of sticks out a little bit as the tote bag style does. With the GM though, that's just so much more so, meaning that I often bump into things and hit things on walls and hit other people with it, and I feel like I'm often apologizing for hitting people with my bag. So that just really doesn't work for me on a day-to-day basis. So the GM for me, I'm probably not going to use every day, and I also probably won't use it for work much. Although I know people love it as a work bag, and I think if you need to carry a lot of stuff to work every day, it could work for you. But for me at least, it's a little more subtle and manageable to carry the MM size. So by far, this is the bag that I carried the most in terms of going to work and on a day-to-day basis. What the GM is good for, and what I'm planning on using it for though, is for travel. I think it's a great travel bag where you want to take as a hand carry bag and stuff a lot of things in there. The thing to worry about though is because it's a big bag, you can definitely load it up, but it gets heavy. So even with just my laptop, the bag was pretty heavy. As you can see, I was struggling a little bit holding the bag up to show you all. So the bag does really get heavy, and I think it's durable and can hold the weight, but in terms of what you want to carry on your shoulder, you're kind of limited by that. It's not really your limitation by the size, it's just a limitation by how much you can hold in terms of weight in the bag, I would say. So definitely something to think about. But that's really how I intend on using the GM size. So overall, if you had to splurge on just one of these, by far for me, it's the MM size. I think it's the perfect size for most people for a day-to-day bag, and also the perfect work bag, I would say. So I really hope that this video helped you out a little bit in terms of whether to go for the MM or the GM size. I obviously love them all, and I'm really happy with all these purchases. And this bag style is really my most, if not one of my most used styles in my entire collection, and for a really good reason. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I will plan to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.